Sublime magnificence. Hey guys, you know what is, what's going on, what is happening, where it's at, and why we're here today. How you doing? It is I, the sublimely magnificent big ugly himself, Omari Ellis Feo Grande on YouTube, back with another episode of This Guy Hasn't Seen. And as usual, I am joined by my co-host and running mate, one of my best friends in the world, El Director himself, Bill Smith.
Hey Omari, thank you for having me back as always. Love being here, love doing this thing, love trading these movies back and forth, but sometimes we don't do that. Sometimes I'm a selfish egomaniac bastard.
Aren't
And
we
I
all?
and I take over this show and demand that you watch a series of films at my pleasure because they are a series of films and must be watched as such. If you're just joining us, this is episode 2 of our Mission Impossible Takeover series, where we are going to watch every single Mission Impossible leading up to the final reckoning that has just released now at the time of recording here in May. Omari, we're on Mission Impossible 2. Give us your thoughts on the Mission Impossible journey so far.
Oh, I've been enjoying it since the previous things we saw before, as well as last week's Mission Impossible 1. I liked the earlier tone of the things. It's like, okay, it's like calmer, but it still has that action, still fast paced, still got the whole, formulaic aspect to it. And I need more of the formula. Give it to me.
Mm-hmm.
You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? I gotta pass the math test. You can't pass the arithmetic without the formula, so I need it. Give it to me.
All right, all right. It is Mission Impossible 2 in 2000, 4 years after the first one. This one is directed by John Woo and is written by Bruce Geller, Ronald Moore, and Brandon Braga. And it stars, of course, Tom Cruise, as well as Tandy Newton and Doug Ray Scott. Okay, so Omari, John Woo,
John Woo.
familiar.
Face Off.
Face Off.
Face Off and probably another film of his that I can't think of off the top of my head. But I know he's a very tropical director. He makes a lot of decisions that it's a John Woo film. There's birds, there's dual wielding, there's slow motion. There's another thing that I picked up on throughout this movie with the religious symbolism of the statues. This is John Woo. It's what he
Loves a
does.
statue. Loves a European Gothic aesthetic. Yeah,
Yeah. I love the random like angel statues and the birds and the slow motion and the explosion. He feeds his tropes like it seems like the stuff we make fun of Michael Bay for, but we don't make fun of John Woo for it. But either way, it's if you just list those things on paper and you tell me that's all the movie is, that sounds like a good movie to me. So I don't have that much of a problem with the idea of a John Woo film. I actually kind of got excited to see what this high-packed action-related series would be like with a John Woo lens.
hmm
So yeah, I was excited to add another John Woo film to my culture, not culture, but my repertoire or library of things I have seen.
Perfect. We'll hit this real quick. IMF agent Ethan Hunt is sent to Sydney to find and destroy a genetically modified disease called Chimera. All right, so we open up on the movie. Give us
All right,
what are your
so
first thoughts?
I think earlier in our series and stuff, when you asked me stuff I've seen from Mission Impossible, I had mentioned Tom Cruise hanging from a mountainside.
Yep.
This movie opened up on a plane, and Tom Cruise was on the plane, so I'm like, I guess I didn't see this movie. Uh, but when we get our big reveal early on in the movie of the villain doing the Mission Impossible special of taking off the mask.
Yeah, that's Tom Cruise's gag. You can't be taking off a Tom Cruise mask. That's Tom Cruise is supposed to be the one under the mask, not the face over the mask.
Yeah. So I'm like, oh, okay. Well, yeah, I really haven't seen the opening to this movie. And then it cuts to Paramount Presents, the Tom Cruise production, as he's hanging from a fucking mountain with no gear, because why the fuck not? I know there are people out there that do this regularly. And I'm like, what? No one's around. They're not
I
even
think it's
gonna
called
know if
free
you fall
climbing, right?
down. Yeah. Yeah, he's
It's
free
like no
climbing.
no ropes, no
No ropes,
harnesses,
no
no.
hooks, just hands, some powder in a bag on the like looks like on the waist, jumping from like one mountain to the other and barely catching on. And it's like no one can see you doing this. No one's there to report if you do fall.
He's on vacation. This is just him having fun.
Yes, but I'm not even so much mad at Ethan Hunt. I get that Ethan Hunt's a different being. It's just I know there's people that do this, and I've never understood it. Take some gear up or something. Anything can happen. Oh, you can grab a cliff and there's a spider there that goes, ah, bite you. What the fuck? Oh, now I'm dead. Like, it's that easy. The spider's not expecting a human to be climbing the mountain. It's just minding its own fucking business. But yes, Ethan Hunt built different, and that's why he's doing it in this movie. And Tom Cruise is crazy himself. I wouldn't be surprised if he has, like, to a lesser degree, a hobby of doing things like this.
Right.
Given what we know he eventually starts trying to do. That said, movie, we get the glasses for the mission
Hmm.
briefing. And I mentioned exploding things. And sure enough, the
I almost just directly spoiled it last time we had a
yeah.
conversation. I almost was straight up just like,
Yeah.
oh, well, at some point I think you have some exploding sunglasses and stuff
Or you like you do
of a
think that
more
more
of a
explosive
magical nature.
yeah, like the more explosive mission will self-destruct thing. Because, yeah, like I said, Inspector Gadget taught me that that's always what it was. But the other movies I had seen, it was the nice little subtle. Psst.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, the movie kicks off, and I'm like, okay, this is gonna be fun. Already, we got the big explosion, John Woo's thing. The whole plane crash scene was crazy in and of itself. I kind of felt bad for the dude that woke up just in time to fail at steering the plane away from the mountain. He would have been far better off if he just stayed unconscious. But here we are. Also, doctor mentions the disease, and he's got 20 hours or whatever that they need to get to the thing. And I'm like, so Tom's gonna be infected by this disease, and the plot is gonna be us getting the cure before Tom dies at the end of the movie. It's gonna be like a 20-hour timeline. Okay. But that's not exactly what happened. But I figured that would have to come into play at some point. Also, when dude did take off the mask, I'm like, well, I see how Tom gets framed for robbing the thing this movie. Because I've started to get used to the idea that they just go, yep, you're super evil and we don't trust you, Tom. After every other time. But no, he doesn't get framed for it. They knew it was the other dude. Right off the bat. We get Anthony Hopkins instead of Kittredge. And I didn't trust Anthony Hopkins because he's Hannibal Lecter.
Right.
And he wasn't, while he's being a spy and he's supposed to be stern and stuff, I don't know. It's a fucking spy movie. I'm expecting people to betray people all the time. But I'm like, yeah, he definitely is playing this like, yes, you're going to do this mission and you're going to do it the way I tell you to do it. And you're not going to ask any questions. I want you to get this girl in on the thing. What are you planning, Anthony Hopkins? What are you up to? What is your turn on this? Um, but no, we get to meeting said girl, Naya, or I think you said her name was Tandy Newton.
Tandy Newton.
Yeah, we meet her. She's a thief, and spy thief shit. is always funny to me, like I mentioned. Her sneaking around this party house to find a crack in the wall to insert like a fucking credit card leg thing through a device that opened a tile to open up a safe. It's so convoluted. And I love it because it's just typical stuff. And then we get them with their over the top flirting because I mean it is two highly attractive people.
Yep.
But
In the year
like
2000, like this movie is so 2000s in so many different ways. My goodness. But yeah, I feel like their romance subplot is just feels so of this time for some reason to me. But man, Tandy Newton is just like one of the most prettiest people in the entire fucking world.
yeah.
I remember the next thing I really only know her from is Westworld. I don't recall her in a ton of stuff.
Yeah, that's
I
kind of
need to
how I
dig
felt.
deeper into a Tandy Newton.
I feel like we mentioned the name in something, but we may not have. But there's a lot of Newtons out there. That said, yeah, that little opening scene with the little, aha, I'm with the security thing, and I'm gonna ruin your thievery thing to try and recruit you. And now we're gonna start flirting through attempted murder as we drive on a cliff, like car to car. Pull over. See if you lived it. Oh, okay. Well, this is what we're doing. But that was a cool little scene on the mountains. We get a few slow-mo shots even with that. And we get to the part where he saves her life and they're in the car and they look in face to face and I just type out, "Oh, just fuck already." Because clearly that y'all are just right from the get-go just, "You mind if I'm on top?" Of course, I'm good either way. I'm like, and then sure enough, the next scene, I'm like, okay, and so they do.
Yep,
Not gonna
yep.
lie, I expected her to be gone in the morning because she's a thief in the night.
Uh-huh.
And she was like, and to keep their little back and forth going a little bit longer because I don't read synopses and stuff. So I'm like, okay, she's gonna be gone. He's gonna have to track her down again. All right, I see what's going on throughout this movie. But no, there, and it turns out he needs her to hook up with her ex.
Yep, she's part of the spy team now. She's gonna be a mole.
Yeah, she's gonna be a mole with the ex so that they can get everything going on with this. And like I said before, these movies they're all like about 2 hours long or so for what it seems, and they move pretty fast, like beat to beat. Like you get what you need out of each scene. If some scenes are dragged out, but nothing too bad for what I can tell. But yeah, they get going to the next scene. She shows up. They decide that they'll put her in prison so the ex can bust her out. And you see the blonde dude, Hughes, I think his name is, or Hugh.
Hugh, yeah.
He just looks like a fucking hater. And I'm like,
Always every shot of him in the movie is either hating or I mean honestly I was wondering if the actor made a silent choice that he's like kind of in love with the main villain, like secretly like
uh,
in love, or at least just like
there's some
so
kind of
committed,
jealousy
so committed
involved.
to him in a you're my leader sense that yeah, sometimes there are looks at him of just like, why won't you say you love me? But then absolute haterade at
At
at Tandy
anybody else,
at all times.
especially Tandy. Like the second she come in, I'm like, oh man, this dude is a straight up hater. I was like, I felt like he was going to be the reason the villains lost. Like his hating would get in the way because he was that much of a hater of the situation and things. Also, we meet our new team. You know, we get Ving Rhames back because of course we do, and we get Billy Baird, who I'm like, oh, hello, Mr. Baird. Well, Leon betrayed us last movie, so I'm assuming you die because you're not in the later ones.
This is the one where I was in my head when I made the statement in our last episode that he would not be a part of this one because this one just feels so disconnected from the
Uh-huh.
rest of the series. In my head, Ving wasn't on the team.
Gotcha.
But yeah, we get Ving, great little moment when he's just like, man, like coming out here in my Versace, like got Australia poop on my Versace or something,
He was
whatever.
all about his Versace. There's a point later in the movie, Punk shot a hole through my Versace. Like he's been making money since that first film, and since he's been back in
That
the IMF.
that moment infuriates me. If we could talk about that for a second.
Sure.
I mean, he's there for his tech. He's there for his tech. But my God, Luther was terrible in that final climax scene. Like it takes him like 10 minutes to shoot two grenades, and then every other time that he has his machine gun, he never even pulls the trigger. He's always like it's always like, uh, uh, bah, 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 bah. Like, it gets fired on. Like screaming at the TV, pull the trigger, Luther! Pull the trigger!
Pretty much. I agree.
But he's
You're
there
not
for his
wrong.
laptop. Like he's not it's gun work isn't,
Yeah, he's not a field agent.
but also that kind of just goes along with this film too, where they're going to do a lot more and then this era is they're just going to do a lot more of like spray and pray kind of shootout fight scenes of just like we're just firing a lot of bullets here and nobody's really being accurate, not even our main character Ethan Hunt.
Yeah,
Like,
but yeah, you're completely right there. I was wrong in thinking that Billy Baird was gonna die, but I'm just like, okay, we know Leon didn't stick around because he betrayed us, or John Renault, and I don't remember the name of his character,
and he exploded to death.
and he exploded to death. He did die as well.
Yeah.
Okay, because I was thinking, okay, one must betray us and one may die in like a sacrificial role, but I forgot he did both, but he only it wasn't sacrificial. Um. So yeah, but still, we get our, mission, and fucking hater dude tries to go to the villain and be like, you don't think it's suspicious that's going on? And he's like, oh, I know it's suspicious. In fact, I'm counting on it being suspicious. And you know what? Just because you thought I was so stupid, I'm cutting the tip of your finger off with a cigar cutter.
Am I not allowed to get my dick wet?
It's like,
Fuck
you
you.
wouldn't
I'm
hit
not
that?
stupid.
He's like, you wouldn't hit that if she came to your house? So yeah, he cut his finger off and tried to teach him a lesson, which I like that ended up being a through line kind of revealed later on and everything. But yeah, and like I said, I love that in these movies, like people aren't as stupid as they typically are. He
Uh-huh.
was he was hip to everything. He did something that I complained about in one of the later ones, where someone slipped something into his pocket and or out of his pocket. He fucking noticed it when it happened because he's a super spy.
Yeah.
Like they do the whole like, okay, put this in his left jacket pocket, get it out of there.
He
Let's
may
see
have
what's
not
on the
noticed
tape.
the pull, but it's because Tandy didn't put it in the right pocket.
Yeah, but
Like he's a super spy that he knows where he put his thing, kind of.
he also like when she put it back, they showed the face of noticing.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. He did. Yeah, yeah, he
Yeah, he's
did notice
like,
it.
all right. Yeah, so you definitely did this. And you put it in the wrong pocket.
Yeah.
So he was ready.
They're like, I think they're trying to play up that like Ethan's facing an equal. Like this is an Ethan Hunt type
And
on the bad side.
not only is he an Ethan Hunt type, he has had to be a double for Ethan on numerous occasions.
Right.
So he's had to try to pretend to be Ethan, which is part of what he hates about Ethan because Ethan is played by Tom Cruise, and you're not going to have Tom Cruise be on the screen without him smiling at you. And he's like, the worst part about trying to be you, your incessant need to smile every 15 minutes. Like, yeah, Tom Cruise do be smiling a lot, but that's just what he do. You're not going to hire that guy and not have him smile. That's where the money comes from. Uh, that said, yeah, movie, like I said, goes in pretty fast. We get the idea of, okay, or Tom Cruise meets up with girl and he's like, you need to get out of here. If you don't get out of here, I'm gonna get you out of here. So find a way off that fucking island. You're in too deep at this point. This is some super disease, chimera, and they need a super cure for it.
Hmm.
And we see we see Tom Cruise meet her on the island, which I thought was too fast, and then I remembered, like, wait a minute, dude has played Tom Cruise before, and he's on to her. Meanwhile, there's another scene where the guy is clearly somebody in a mask as they interrogate the
Right, because we know that guy's dead.
CEO. Yeah, we know he's dead. So somebody's in a mask talking to this dude and asking him information. And I couldn't really put my finger on why the villain would be asking this dude that information or going to these efforts. So while it was like, okay, it makes sense to see Tom Cruise pull off the mask that he pulled off, I'm like, okay, then that confirms the other Ethan that's like all of a sudden, now stay on the island and do what he says. But I thought you could. Now stay on the island. Trust me. It's a promise. But notes for acting and stuff. I like when he took off the thing and fucking Hater Man comes up to talk to him. The look of frustration on his face at the fact that she was indeed just here working with Ethan, like full on, fully aware of everything, and that conversation confirmed it as if anything else she had done hadn't. The
Hmm.
betrayal he looked like he had, where he's like, I don't care anymore. Also, there was some like sadness in the betrayal. It wasn't even just anger. You could kind of see some sadness in it too, because it's like, damn. I think a part of him was kind
Because
of
she also
hoping.
was like trying to kiss Ethan, and
Yeah,
she was being all intimate and like and all of that, and
that's what I'm saying. So it's
yeah,
like there is no chance.
it's like
Like everything we
it's a
did
double
was just,
betrayal.
yeah,
Like, oh, not only are you being a mole for the fucking IMF against me, but you're also fucking him. Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
It's a good scene.
yeah. So I do like his portrayal during that scene. But we get the lab mission. We gotta steal the virus and or kill the virus. Well, he's going to kill the virus, but villain wants to steal the virus. And him predicting Tom Cruise's plan exactly, which involved him dropping through on a cable while wearing black in a black room. So that might be still no lasers, but that might be what I got mixed up with the first movie of the shot that I've seen. Because remember, I was talking about that before. I'm like, oh, this is an all white room, and
We might have this conversation in every single one of these episodes.
but I'm
I
like,
like there
aha.
is a very high likelihood of a dropping through a thing on a cable in either a light or dark room dressed in all black in every single one of these movies.
Fair. But it was like, okay, so this happens here, but he calls it to a T. And like, because like you mentioned, the guy said Ethan has a way he likes to do things, and that's with the least amount of resistance possible because he don't like hurting people, which we saw in the first movie where he's like zero body count. So it's like, okay, man, we everything's going wrong right until it goes wrong as it be, and we get the shootout. And I finally see in the movie that one of the things I was looking for, the dual wielding, the akimbo shooting, the John Woo
There you go.
special.
Yep.
Here we go. I'm like, yep, there it is. There's the dual wielding. Got the fucking shootout in the lab. Stuff's going crazy. And part of me was wondering, I'm like, why not shoot the fucking thing and destroy it? Then I'm like, nah, that'll probably release the virus into the air. At the same time, I felt like when he was firing the things in the little safety box just to waste them, I felt like when they blew up the safety box, that would release the virus into the
Well, he
air.
was firing it into a specific thing. He was
Oh,
screwing a thing onto the guns and then firing it. And then he grabbed it because it was like it was three guns and three little what looked like silencers kind of things.
yeah.
And he was screwing those on and so I guess in the world of the movie, those silencers were somehow killing the
Yeah,
virus.
like probably had like a solution in it or whatever to
Yeah.
disperse it. But yeah, and then sure enough, dude tells people to stop shooting because if you hit the gun, the virus is in the air. And then they still try to shoot a few times. What a socket!
This whole scene is just so stylized of this 2000 action genre and John Woo and like so many slow motions, so many hard push-ins and yeah, it's really of the time.
Very much so. But I'm enjoying it. It's like another person people talk about with them doing things. Zack Snyder in slow motion. Zack Snyder's 300 in Watchmen, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yes, Zack Snyder loves himself some slow motion.
Yep.
But John Woo loves himself some fucking slow motion too. Like I'm realizing like there's
I
John
just think
Woo.
John Woo never got as big as the two that you're comparing. Like his big movies were Face Off and this film. Other
Fair.
than like the Japanese cinema that he made that not a lot of people would have seen.
Yeah,
But like his
but you
big
hear the term
American movies were only like two or three hits.
fair. You just hear the term John Woo film, or at least I've heard a lot of John Woo film. Like that being a colloquial term. So
Hmm.
I guess I assumed he had made a lot more movies.
I think if he would have had the catalog of a Michael Bay, you would hear him being talked about like Michael Bay. But
Yeah.
because there's so few examples, we didn't get tired of like because it's still you were like I don't know why people don't make fun of John Woo like they make fun of Michael Bay. They kind of do. It's just not as vitriolic because
Yeah.
we didn't have enough time to get so tired of it.
I think that's what I meant by it. It's like it's not as vitriolic as the
Yeah,
Michael
I
Bay
I
thing.
think it's just because Michael Bay's just been doing it for so long and
Yeah.
so in our face with it. Like
That's
if John
entirely
Woo
fair.
has was still making gigantic studio pictures that had slow-mos of people widely spinning out of car doors as doves released behind them and a crying Virgin Mary statue, like I think we would be it would be a very mocked trope at this point.
The statues is what gets me. It's like I didn't even think of it when I thought John Woo film, but when they were in that city where they just for whatever reason a festival was going on with a burning angel statue, I was like, yeah, I remember because I think the climax of Face Off takes place in a church with doves and
Hmm.
a fucking fuck like you said fucking Virgin Mary statue or some shit where that gets like
Oh,
five
Face
shots.
Off in particular is just covered in fucking birds and Roman Catholic statues, like all over the place.
And
Um,
ironically, there's a lot of faces coming off in this movie because it's
mhm.
a Mission Impossible.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
people pretending to be other people. Which I thought was some funny connection there. But yeah, we get out of that place because she decides to make a decision. It turns out she was there. Oh, Luther's car explodes, and the only downside to having seen one of the later films here is me knowing for a fact Luther's coming out. Like I probably could have guessed,
Yeah,
but it's
I
like,
think the movie's telling you that like yeah, there's a chance, but you probably think as a first-time viewer, you probably think that there's like a 75% chance or
yeah.
better that Luther got out of the van the way they edited that. They just wanted it to look like it was close.
Yeah, at least he got to see the like to give you the idea that he should have a good chance of surviving. He sees them the fact that they placed the thing on his van. It
Hmm.
would have been much weirder if he was like type type type. They put the thing, van explodes, and then he just comes out like, "Oh, good thing I
Yeah.
got out of the van in time." It's like, no, we see in real time, which again, they don't
Which
insult our intelligence.
that may be the first of a few Luther is dead teases that you're going to have to sit through.
Hey, it is what it is. But again, the movies don't treat us like we're that stupid. He doesn't stay dead, quote unquote, dead that long, even. He's like within a couple minutes, they're like, nope, he is fine, guys. And
Mm,
now he's gonna call Tom because he finally has the ability to. She's in the building. Thanks,
yeah.
man. Thanks.
Great.
But yeah, she makes the self-sacrifice play of being like, well, I'm gonna inject myself with it because the dude needs the disease, the villain needs the disease so that he has something to sell a cure for. Tom Cruise needs to destroy the disease. He needs the disease so he can destroy it, and that the villain won't have something to have the cure for. So, but she's like, I'm gonna inject myself with it, and now the villain can't kill me because then I can't be a carrier.
Hmm.
So it makes sense. He does the thing where he's like, just stay alive. I'm coming back for you because she wanted him to shoot her. And then he blows up the wall. And for me, part of me was like, why not take her with you? You're going to come back and steal the cure anyway. But he's like, no, you just stay alive and stay here. And he just runs. And just the idea of him like running and just jumping out the window or jumping out the hole in the wall, just like this guy, this Ethan Hunt dude. This Ethan Hunt dude just does not care. He's just jumping off of shit. We'll figure it out when it happens. Like no idea, no guarantee to hell. There's no message. We're waiting for you outside for pickup. Extractions out the wall or nothing. Nah, I'll blow up the wall and jump out. We'll deal with what happens when it happens. I'm coming back for you. And takes us to like the climax. We get the deal going on. We got to do this, and we see random birds sitting in the hallway for no reason because we got to have a John Woo thing. As he does his little infiltration mission. That's cool. While we
Hmm.
got the
Hmm.
tension and all of that.
There's a
And
few like I don't want to put that I don't want to put this on it just because of the channel just because of how we are with this channel. But does a couple of professional wrestling moves, I feel like
yeah,
in this sequence.
no,
Like
put it on there. That's what we do.
the spinning heel kick to the
Oh my
ground that's
God.
kind of like a leg
The the
like
slow
a
motion flipping leg drop.
yeah. And
That
then the
thing.
what is it? Kind of berserker knee-esque.
Yeah,
Where the running up the guy to knee him in the side of the head move.
yeah, top drop kicks. There's definitely a slow-mo drop kick or three. There's a
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
absolutely wrestling moves in
But
this
yeah,
underground
that
sequence.
slow-mo flipping drop kick or leg drop.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, okay, Tom, sure.
And, yeah, and he just kicked him away like you're done now. That's my finisher, so obviously.
Yeah, obviously I don't have to worry about this dude no more. He's out. It's like, did you break his neck with the leg drop or something? How do you
Right.
know? But yeah, he's going through it, and we get the thing where he finally makes it outside the room. He throws the grenade and shoots the grenade as they open the door, which cool entrance in and of itself. But of course, as the fire comes through the door and we look at the door, there's one single dove that flies through the door right before he comes in. Like, I just picture John Woo like, what would make this scene, this shot better? Dove. The rest of the birds have been pigeons. This is a fucking dove.
Hmm.
And so like that was funny to me, but and obviously we start working on the escape. Like he wants to steal the stuff, but Hughes is trying to fight him and everything in the hallway. And when he brings him in and like, hey, we've been fighting, put your or no, first the dude's like, put your hands up. You want me to do that? Are you sure? Okay, it's a grenade. And then Hughes drags Ethan back in here. At first, for like a good 5 seconds, I'm like, oh, dude, dragged Ethan into the room. We're gonna get one final little shit talking before we reveal something. But when all Ethan does is grunt, I'm like, that ain't Ethan either. The switch has been made. Like, will you stop mumbling? Yeah, I'm like, he's not even like mumbling. He's just going, he's literally sounds like he's got duct tape over his mouth and like the bugged out eyes, like, oh my God, I'm not eating. And he shoots the hell out of him, empties the clip because of course he does, because this dude stole his girl in more ways, in every way that matters. And shoots the hell out of him, and then we get the big escape. You mentioned the Luther trying to help him on the helicopter, and then it was just like, fuck it, go find the girl. She's about to go try to kill herself by jumping off a cliff. Please stop her from doing that. I have the cure now. He's riding on the fucking motorcycle. And the shots in this motorcycle chase, the fucking slow-mo spins to shoot the cars, the fucking front wheelie into spin to stop. The goddamn 18 wheeler that hits the car that apparently was filled with dynamite.
Right.
Because
You know those cars that if you hit them on the side, they immediately explode? And
I'm
also how
like,
you can drive through an exploding vehicle and be fine if you're on a motorcycle? Like as long as your buddy explodes that car 2 seconds before you start to drive through it, you're gonna be
we're
fine.
good.
By the
Yeah.
time you drive through it, it's just flames.
Yeah.
All
The
the other
flames,
all the other stuff has been melted or something. I don't know.
yeah,
I'm
the
not a
flames don't
scientist.
have enough time to catch fire to your clothes. You know, just drive right through. But and then fucking obviously villains chasing him on the motorcycle, so we start having random shots with that. The fucking skating alongside the motorcycle, so that he can
For
dodge the shots.
sure.
And then we
Yeah.
get the fucking
Meanwhile, he puts three shots into a full automobile and they explode and do five barrel rolls and shit. And then the villain can put an entire clip into the side of his exposed engine of his motorcycle.
just start trickling gasoline.
And that took fucking forever.
Yeah.
It took him forever to
I
get
was
that
like,
hole going.
where's this thread going with this trickling gasoline? There's going to be like some big like it's gonna catch fire or something. And it doesn't really until like they get to the fucking motorcycle chicken slash jousting. We're just vroom, 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 vroom. And they can clash in the air, like they jump off to attack each other off a cliff while the motorcycles explode. And I'm like, okay, yes, this movie's just dopamine on dopamine. And just like, yeah, explosions. And we get the little final fight. They're beating the hell out of each other. Tom Cruise, actually, I say beating the hell out of each other, but it's mainly Tom Cruise beating the hell out of him.
Yeah.
Every time he tries to stand up, just another slow motion combo. Grab the arm. Kick, kick, kick. Boom. KO. All right. Cool. You did it, Tom. Now here comes the helicopter. You should have killed me when you had the chance. And the fucking, oh, look, in the sand right by my foot is another gun.
Of course there is.
So he does the move, toss the cure, hope Luther catches it, toss the cure, kicks it up into the air, jump, flip. Ah, bam, 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 fatality. Perfectly of all the times and all the spraying and praying done in this movie, now's the time to have the perfect aim. Boom, right to the villain. He's done. Now we actually win. We cure the girl. Now, I am aware of Ilsa's existence, so I assumed the girl wasn't going to be made it to in time. Because, frankly, I'm of the thing like, well, if you have a Tandy Newton on your hands, why would you not bring her back for the later movies?
Hmm.
But we'll see how that happens. We'll see. It'll be interesting to see how she ends up getting replaced by Ilsa and the others. Uh, but yeah, already mentioned the punk putting the hole in the Versace, and yeah,
Uh,
Anthony.
the knife stunt was real. That's a with the eye.
Oh yeah,
That's a real thing going on. That's like a super strong tensioned wire, perfectly measured out, and then they're coming down, and the only thing holding it back is that wire attached to the knife, stopping them at that moment. I remember seeing a behind the scenes thing on a feature on that back in the day.
yeah. See, I don't know if I could agree to that. Or maybe you really zoom in on the stuntman's eye to show if you really want that shot of knife to eye, that could be anybody's eye. Zoom the fuck in. That don't have to be my eye, especially if I look like Tom Cruise and this is what makes me the money. No. I'll jump off a cliff. It's either I'm dead or I'm still making movies. But stab me in the eye? Now I make less movies and make less money off of them. No. And I
Um,
can't see.
all right,
Which
Omar, we've got four under our belt now. I'm gonna ask you to do something hard here. Rank the four.
rank the four. All right. So primarily because I remember the least about it, I'm probably gonna have to put Fallout at the bottom because I remember the least about it. That said, then there's the whole recency bias of the when I I do think I like two more than the first one because you know, it like I said, you put these things that we make fun of these directors for on paper, with the exception of maybe the birds part. But I'm like, yeah, that sounds like a good movie. And I liked from what I can tell so far, difference of the norm where it's not so much of a you betrayed your country and you got the world after you. No, we believe. that you weren't on that plane because we
Yeah, yeah.
put the
This
guy
one
on the
doesn't have
plane.
any of that final twist
Yeah.
things. Like Tandy doesn't end up becoming a secret bad guy, or like you said, the team member that's not Ving Rhames doesn't end up betraying them in any way or something like that. It's all just Anthony Hopkins doesn't come back as a
Yeah.
betrayer. It's just here's a mission, do the mission, done.
Yeah. So I did like that. Um, do I like it more than Dead Reckoning Part 1? I think I liked it more. However, I think Dead Reckoning Part 1 was a better movie, if that makes sense, because it dealt with it dealt with the lighthearted topics, the whole loss and all of that. He lost a girl on the bridge and
Mm.
everything. It wasn't necessary. Well, for now, we know how Ilsa operates, but for now, Ilsa actually died. So there was a bit more of the whole stakes, and that sets up the vengeance aspect in the next movie. Um, that and like you said, it's very much a product of its time, so I don't think I can put it at number one. So I guess at the end of the day, what's the number one film out of these? I it's hard. It's hard to say, but I think I'm gonna put Dead Reckoning over one. So 6, 1, 2, 5.
All right, all right.
That could change, but for
It's
now, that's what's coming off the top of my head. Yes, recency bias and opposite of recency unbiased are playing,
mhm.
but or unrecency
It's
forgetfulness.
interesting. It's yeah, I think mine are pretty different of what we've watched so far. I think I would go 5, 1, 6, 2.
And that's entirely fair. I don't like I said, like two I got a lot of enjoyment out of just because as I think the over the top that's why I ranked it below 6 because
Mm-hmm.
it's not as good a film.
Right. But you enjoy its B movie
Yeah, yeah.
2000-ish things that
I
it's
I
doing.
enjoy that shit. Like explosions, yay, gunshots. Look at this. Action.
All right, well, I don't have to ask you what we're watching next week
We all
because it's still Mission Impossible, baby.
yeah.
We're on to
Look,
number 3.
that's right. MI3 from like 2006.
Yeah.
Looking forward to that. If you want to see everything else on the channel, go right ahead. Check it out. We've got 3 years worth of content and counting on the channel for just with this show alone. That's not even counting the other shows like Mock Draft. That's been going on for at least a year. That show's got some stuff from on Mondays that we have. On Saturdays, we have You Don't Watch Sports. It's two guys, three topics. Help you sprinkle a little information into your casual sports conversation. Be your guiding light through the sea of the casual sports talk. Whatever we want will happen whenever it happens. I also have a Twitter and Twitch at Giotavi. That is Giotavi. Come on in, stop on by. Streaming our day 240. You know what that
Day.
means. Yes, sir. You got anything else you want to say to the folks, Bill? Nope. All right. Well, we will see you next week with MI3. Adios.